Welcome back to Tax Flow to Cash Flow. I'm your host, Denise Givan, the Tax Strategist, and you're listening to part two of our powerful series, Generational Wealth or Generational Waste. In part one, we talked about one of the biggest shifts you must make to protect your future. Stop paying unnecessary taxes. Today, we're going even deeper because strategy alone won't save you if you don't show up prepared. Let's be real for a minute. Your strategist isn't just your filer, we're your partner in building wealth. But we can only be as good as the information you give us. So today, I'm talking directly to you, not just as a client, but as a wealth builder yourself. How should you show up? How should you plan ahead? And how can you make tax time a weapon, not a source of stress in your wealth journey? All right, let's talk about it. So, every year, tax professionals meet two types of clients. We meet the wealth builders, the ones who treat tax planning like a critical move in their financial chess game. And then we have the scramblers, the one who show up 10 minutes before the deadline with half their paperwork missing, asking for miracles. I'm laughing because if that's you, I know you're shaking your head. Guess which one wins the real game of wealth? Wealth builders don't panic in April because they plan in October, November, and December. They don't just drop off paperwork, they strategize, they prepare, they engage. So let me pull back the curtains for you. When clients show up last minute, here's what really happens behind the scenes. We rush to we have to rush calculations instead of analyzing and optimizing. We're limited on tax saving strategies because some moves have to happen before December 31st. We miss opportunities because tax codes reward the prepared, not the panicked. Imagine if you were a surgeon and only had 30 minutes to review your chart before before operating. That's the kind of risk you're putting on your financial health when you show up unprepared. But when clients come ready with the documents organized and on time, magic happens. We can structure moves that saves thousands, even tens of thousands. Your readiness gives your strategist permission to perform miracles. So, here's a teachable moment. What does your tax strategist expect from you? If you truly want to stop overpaying and start winning, here's what your tax strategist expects from you. Organization. Clear profit and loss statements. All documents uploaded early. No guessing games. Communication. Tell us about major life changes ahead of time. New businesses, real estate, marriage, kids, divorces. We want to know these things before April. Responsiveness. When we request documents and clarification, respond quickly. Don't disappear. Timelessness. Upload your documents and complete your tax organizer by early January or as soon as you have them, not March 31st. Now, mindset. Now, treat tax planning as year-round strategy, not a last-minute emergency. We can save you money, time, stress, and sometimes your entire financial future if you give us the gift of preparation. So now, I just want to do some apologies right now. And for those of you who are my active clients, please forgive me. If you felt that I was not communicating well with you when you came about 10 minutes before it was time for the deadline. So let's talk a little bit about that. I know I'm being sarcastic, but I would love for you to understand what it looks like behind the scenes. Now, keep in mind, a lot of clients treat the tax strategist as if they are the only client. They sometimes call or text in the wee hours of the night. They call multiple times throughout the day if they don't get an answer. I just want you to understand we are really doing our best as a team. So I really want to kind of really educate you guys on what the expectation is when it comes to tax time. So for those of you who are my clients and all of my potential clients, I love you all. But let me say this: being prepared is the number one key to the best communication. And also, remember, we can save you time, stress, and sometimes your entire financial future if you give us the gift of preparation. I just wanted to just say that was my love letter to you. So now let's go step by step on how to prepare for tax time. Now, the reasoning I'm doing this part of the generational wealth is because this could lead you to generational waste if you are not prepared properly. So, what does that look like? Step one, gather information early. Now, a lot of times, employers, the rule is they must have your W-2s and 1099s out by January 31st. Now, what that means is they must mail them out or send them out to you by that date. So, no later than February 15th, you should already be ready to start uploading documents to your tax strategist. This makes time for an easy preparation for us and yourself. So W-2s, 1099s, K1s, investment income, mortgage statements, as soon as you receive them, upload them to your portal or your organizer. No shoe boxes and no guessing. No, I think I have it somewhere. Those are statements that I just don't want to hear. And I'm quite sure your tax professional does not want to hear that as well. So, step one, gather things early. As soon as you get them, start uploading them. Now, number two, this is something that I cannot stress enough: know your numbers. If you are a business owner, have a clean P&L and balance sheet ready by mid-January. Reconcile your accounts monthly. Don't wait until the end of the year. That is the number one reason, one of the number one, that's part of the number one reason why business owners pay unnecessary taxes. They don't know their numbers throughout the year. And step number three, schedule a tax strategy meeting early. Now, I know a lot of people want to talk when it comes to tax season. Now, people, come on, you got to think about the tax strategist. Have a little compassion on me. That is not the time to book a session. The time to book a session or schedule or meeting with the tax strategist is early October or November. Those are the times when we could talk about what's been going on throughout the year, and hopefully before October that I've already spoken to you. I always say the rule of thumb is to make a appointment or schedule an appointment with the tax strategist but after every quarter. So you should be meeting at least 4 times a year, not just when it's time for taxes. Now, I know the first quarter of the year is when tax season begins. The best time is right immediately after first quarter ends. No later than April 30th. That's when you should be making your first meeting with your tax strategist immediately after. So you can go over what we did. What did I find? I say, hey, we could have saved a little more here if we would have done this. I could give you more strategies early in the year. So, number three, schedule a tax strategy meeting early, preferably October, November. But I would love for you to have one at least 4 times a year. Don't wait until you file. Plan before the year ends because it is so easy to get in front of mistakes or in front of anything before December 31st. That's when we make all of our adjustments. So the rule of thumb is book a session early. So now let's move to step number 4. Organize deductions and expenses. Now, a lot of times you're not clear on what's a good deduction or what's an allowable expense. By now, you should know if you've been a client of mine or if you have a really good tax professional, you should know what are allowable expenses and deductions. Now, your medical expenses, charitable giving, business write offs, a lot of home office deductions, a lot of your home expenses, keep them categorized and assembled. And number 5, communicate major life changes. Now, what could that be? You started a business. You possibly bought property. You had another addition to your family. You had a baby. You got married or divorced. Tell your strategist early. These are game changing tax moves if handled right. Look, I know it's overwhelming sometimes. I know taxes feel like just another chore or a never ending to do list. But hear me when I say this, tax strategy is not just about saving money, it's about protecting the time, sweat, energy, and sacrifices you've already made. It's about building a financial house strong enough to shelter your children, your dreams, and your legacy. Every document you organize, every deadline you respect, every strategy session you book ahead of time, that's you choosing to protect your future self. You deserve to move like the wealthy because you are building wealth. So now it's time to move a little differently. Stop reacting and start building. Now, I've been talking about uh, putting things into action. So I want to invite you to grab a copy of Tax to Cash Strategy Playbook. It's packed with step by step strategies for high earners who are serious about keeping what they earn. And also, I wanted to invite you, for those of you who like, I like to say hand holding, I want to invite you to the Business Structuring Pro membership. Now, let me explain to you what we do. So we meet every month and we don't just talk about money moves. We make them happen. I like to set up ways for you to start building generational wealth. So what I do is I make sure you have each and every tool to make that happen. So by joining the membership, you will get all the attention you need from your strategist. And actually, we will be meeting once a month versus just 1 or 2 times a year. Now, I recommend that everybody, Business Structuring Pro membership is what you need to make sure you start building generational wealth. Because generational wealth isn't built by chance, it's built by choice. And you choose to start today, I hope. I'll see you next week for part 3. And remember, no plan, no legacy. Why wealth dies without a proper strategy. You don't want to miss our next part of our series. And I am Denise Givan, your tax strategist, and I look forward to seeing you in the podcast Tax Flow to Cash Flow.